Hello,
professionally.
and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. On tonight's show, Monday, May the 20th, we'll be reviewing yesterday's home win over Sean Dyche's Everton side, which brought our season to a close. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi Arsenal fans. Elevate Events are putting on two great shows in August, one in Dublin and one in Cork. And it's an Arsenal show. We have Paul MERSON, a great player from the 80s. We have Ray Parlour, a great player from the 90s. And to ask us the questions about Arsenal and all things football is Darrell Breen. He's a gooner as well. So come along to these shows. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
On the show tonight, I'm joined by season guests and Arsenal ticket holders, avid Arsenal fans, may I add. First of all, Eamon Donnelly, how are you, pal?
Evening, Jonathan. Looking forward to the last 4 games of the season. 42 games of the season when I played in my day. See Eddie Grader's on the show. Eddie Grader, how are you? No, I'm good. I'm in good fettle. So we'll pick the bones out of yesterday and what it all means over the next while, you know?
Yeah, we'll have a good show tonight, definitely. I'm also joined by Ed Scanlon. How are you, Ed?
I'm great, John. Still just about recovering. I booked a day off today from work just in case, but just got a bit of gardening done. And some red face.
I see Ed is sporting the new home jersey for next season. Looks well.
Yeah, thanks. This is I didn't read the small print. It's the slim fit, so luckily you can't see the rest of the chest down below. So thanks to.
I hope you didn't get I hope you didn't get the boxer shorts with it. I don't want to see slim fit boxer shorts in any of the supporters club.
Jesus, I remember the 70s. Early 80s, they were proper shorts back then. They were.
I never want to see either of you in them shorts either. They're more like a fucking G-string than the air shorts now.
Yeah.
I suppose the extra small will do you, Ed, for now.
Yeah.
It looks really well, though. And the cannon is back for next season. Yeah. I think, is that modelled on the 1990-91 season with the navy stripes? Is that what is it? Yeah.
Yeah. The only complaint I have is the cannon is still pointing east and it should be pointing west, like this one here.
Yeah, it's a good spot actually, Eamon. Yeah. All complaints to the Arsenal supporters club for that.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Martin for getting a batch of them very quickly, off straight out of the factory.
Yeah.
Which the front door or the back door, I don't know, but he certainly had them. He had so I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks well actually, and I'll probably end up getting one off Martin myself to save me a few bob.
If the away one is true, it looks like, as Martin was saying, the away one looks like it was sponsored by Lynx Africa. With the green and yellow, green and red stripes on it.
Yes.
Wouldn't be a fan of that one yet, but we hated the Dayglow yellow one at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
You couldn't get anybody to like it. Now all of a sudden, everybody will always remember it as Declan Rice's shirt, I think, in future.
Yeah. Rice, baby. I have to say, the one Eamon has on him is still a class, though. There's no beating that 1970-71.
You just can't, you know.
It's class, isn't it? The blue collar and all is just, anything Arsenal do is class. So that's what I say. In terms of yesterday, I'll just go a few end of season stats to begin with before we go into our review. We had the most wins, 28, since the 1970-71 season where we won 29. The most goals, 91 scored, since the 1952-53 season where we scored 97. But our highest goals tally in a season was in 1930-31 where we scored 127. We had the most league points, 89, since the invincible season in 03-04 where we got 90 points and won the league. We had the most set piece goals, which for ourselves, the highest amongst any of them, with 32 in total. David Rea won the Golden Glove with 16 clean sheets. Has to be said. Jordan Pickford was a close second behind him. He had a superb season and a superb match in goal for Everton yesterday. I say Richard Boy would like that. And in terms of 90-minute plus goals, we 10. Only Liverpool had 11, so we were doing really well there. William Saliba made the most passes with 2,839. Only Rodri had more with 3,633. It's quite an achievement for a defender, I have to say, from Saliba. We'll have our end of season review next week, so we won't give away who's our end of season top player. And Bukayo Saka ended the top Premier League scorer for us with 15. And again, the star boy only goes on from strength to strength. There are just a few end of season stats there for us. The results yesterday, going to the review, 2-1 to ourselves. Tommy Asu got the goal for ourselves. That was his first goal since October against Sheffield United. It was his last goal. And Kai Havertz, of course, got the winner in the 89 minutes. And I thought him getting the goal to win us the match really summed up his season, and, you know, really well deserved from Kai Havertz, from what he's done, from the player he was to the player he is now. What Arteta's done with him is just truly immense. Everton's goal came from an unfortunate deflection of Declan Rice from Ghana Gay's free kick. I thought, in fairness, when Phil Foden got the goal after 2 minutes, it really did deflate any chances of winning the title. It was always going to be a big ask, hand on heart. I knew City weren't going to slip up, but I thought Martin Odegaard had a brilliant game again. Probably man of the match. Superb again. What a player. Goes from strength to strength like everyone else on the team. Great to see Orient Timber back. Bit of a cameo role, but something to look forward to next season. A whole new signing for us. I thought Everton, with them being safe, they done really well, you know. Defensively sound. Pickford had a superb game and goal. And to win the game 2-1, I think it was what we deserved after the season we've had. I know yourself, Eamon and Ed were in the River Bar, so I'll come to you, Eamon. Your take on yesterday's match?
Well, okay. Well, the first thing I noticed after 10 minutes, and I think I said this to you, Ed, you realise how good Bukayo Saka is when he's not on the pitch, because the combinations down the right-hand side, we were trying our best to get it working, but it's not Saka. Bukayo Saka is now in the top 3 players in world football. That's what we have in our books. So that was the first thing. But in mitigation to that, Ben White's passing was unbelievable. Now, you have to understand, Ben White has been playing with Saka in front of him all year. So he's passing to a left-footed player who makes an angle for himself and cuts in. Martinelli's a right-footed player. So Ben White had to change the angle of his passing yesterday. And the one he put through for Martinelli, when Martinelli cut through that time, was an absolute peach. And Ben White is a serious footballer, as well as having shithousery and good defending. But you could see the combinations between White, Odegaard and Saka make us really, really special. So we missed a bit of that. And that's no downy on Martinelli at all, who tried really hard. It was a bit of a nothing game because, as you say, when Phil Squirrelface, scored after a couple of minutes, the hopes start going out of the place, and that transmits onto the players and all of that, and then everything get a waxy goal. But in fairness to the guys, they found a way to win the game. They found a way to win the game, and they wanted to win the game. If you watch it on Arsenal.com, David Hillier is doing the co-commentary, and he's basically saying, never mind whether you win the title or not, Arsenal owe their fans, a win for the last game of the season for the way the fans have supported them. And the team rose to that and wanted to win it for the fans and found a way. Pickford was unbelievable. I mean, he made 2 stops yesterday that were unbelievable. Like, one was with his arse, but for him even to be in that position,
it's
the way
ridiculous.
the way he adjusted his feet to get into that position, and the other one was a really powerful stop with his right hand. And I thought the lad in front of him, he reminds me of a younger John Stones, Brantwaite.
Yeah, he's very good, isn't he? Yeah.
He's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good. But we found a way to win the game. It was difficult with the other game going on. But if you want me to review the game itself, it wasn't much of it. You know, Everton were very honest yesterday. They were very honest, and I've lots of things to say about, you know, where we find ourselves today. I might cover that a small bit later after you let Ed in. But the one thing I'll say is that Everton were really honest against us, and generally Sean Dyche's teams are honest.
Yeah,
you know, they came out to try and do something. I have to say, some of the teams that go to Man City aren't as honest, right? And there's a reason for that, and that goes back to Liverpool in the 70s and 80s, and Man United, and you know, in the 90s and 90s, in that teams go up and they kind of, oh, we're playing against this machine and we're beaten, and they're not as honest, you know. Man City have kind of earned that, albeit through spurious means, but they won 4 Premier Leagues now. I mean, if you look at what Aston Villa did, for example, Aston Villa came to us, gave us the whole pitch, right? We didn't capitalise on it. Eventually cost us the title. When we didn't capitalise on it, they came out to win the game, and that's what they did. When they went up to City a week beforehand, he put out half a team. So did he believe he was going to beat Man City? No. Did he believe he was going to beat us? No, until it got to half time. But he played a stronger team against us. And you'll find that, you know, and this is not sour grapes or anything like that, but you'll find that when a team is so dominant like Man City are, like Man United were for a long time, and Liverpool were, you know, teams go up there beaten. And we haven't earned that yet, but we're on that journey. And everything gave it a real go yesterday. I have to say, hats off to them. I prefer that they were honest and that they didn't just come out and roll over, you know. And I prefer that we had to work hard for the game, and it was great that we got a result in those circumstances, you know. So look, we'll talk about where it leaves us in a few minutes. But the game is not really one you'd analyse. I mean, we were kind of on top all day, susceptible to the odd counter attack. We made enough combinations. We weren't great. We weren't really very fluid yesterday. But look, we won the game, and deservedly so, in my view.
Were you happy to see Urian Timber come back for a cameo role? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really makes any difference. He looks a bit overweight to me compared to what he was. But you can understand that, because I'd say what they've probably done, he's probably not overweight at all. I'd say what they've done is they've had to build his body muscle up. He didn't look as agile.
Yeah.
It's probably a better way of saying it. But I think he'll be a real player. I think he will be a real player for us, you know.
In terms of, briefly, Eamon, we saw Smith Rowe come off the bench and have a couple of chances. One in particular hit the crossbar. Do you think Smith Rowe could be one player that we mightn't see next season? Do you think he could be on the transfer list?
Well, it depends. I mean, look, I was going to just review the game and maybe get into some more substantive stuff later. But all I say to you on that one is, he's a player we'd get money for. So you can't just go out and buy everybody. You've got to bring money in, and he is teams will snap him up, and I don't think he'll be with us next season.
Yeah, you could kind of see with his body language, he hasn't got that kind of excitement he had a last season or two yet.
I don't buy that, Jonathan.
I have to come on his side as well. Sadly, injuries has plagued him as well, hasn't it? Or his fitness. Probably.
I don't really buy this body language stuff. The boy came on and played quite well. You know,
he played
well yesterday, and he's an excellent player. I have a nagging doubt about him and how well he is mentally.
Really, yeah. Hopefully he can sort himself out over the summer and he can still be an nurse.
He's a great lad. He's a great
player. Yeah.
But we're going to have to decide whether we stick or twist on him. And I mean, if we're trying to do everybody says, "Oh, we need a striker, we need a central midfielder, we need this." You can't just go out. We've got to get revenue in, and he's a player that would get us revenue. You get 40 million for him, you know.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be far off. I mean, yeah, he's definitely you get a few bob for him, yeah. Ed, coming to you. You were in the River Bar yesterday, over 300 yourself and Eamon were saying, and it's getting busier by the week, with us doing so well. A lot of people would have probably called this a bit of a dead rubber, knowing that City were going to beat West Ham, but Everton certainly didn't see it as a dead rubber. They gave us a really good game. What was your take on the game yesterday, Ed?
Yeah, I think Jamie said exactly what I was going to say about Sean Dyche. He never gives you second best for what he's got. I mean, obviously their points deduction was threw them into a place where they didn't really deserve to be in the league. You know, they had a couple of wobbles earlier on, but they're the team that knocked Liverpool out of the title race, and they set themselves up extremely well. And you know, it was 2 banks of 5 or 4-4-1. You know, they had the counter-attack threat. They had pace, and you know they're big lads, and they really stuck to their system all the way to the 89th minute. It was just one mistake at the end, a back pass, not a back pass, but a cross-field pass that we luckily intercepted, and was beautiful pass from Odegaard, threaded through the defence for Havertz to tap in. But Sean Dyche, yeah, I only wish that the fixtures were reversed, that Everton should have been up at City, and we had the West Ham that turned up in the first half against City. I think West Ham did play a little bit better in the second half. Stunning goal to get back into the game. That got a huge reaction, you know, back in the River Bar. That people started to believe that, you know, it's not over yet. You know, and I think Arsenal, I had a feeling, I was saying that to Eamon, that, you know, we're going to get it. You know, there was a kind of a feeling of 89 about it, nearly, you know, it was going to go to the last minute. You know, we did score in the 89th minute, the winner. But, you know, that wasn't the game that was going to make the decision at the end of the season. You know, it's great that we got it. You know, our home record is good. It's not as good as City's, and that's probably the difference, as Eamon said earlier on, that City didn't lose a single game at home. You know, we got slagged out for grinding out a very, very tough draw up there, where we actually dominated City for a large part of that game. And you know, the disingenuousness of saying that we were scared and played for a draw up there, they can go stick that one in their pipe and smoke it. That's just a false narrative being built up about Arsenal. In the so-called Big Six, so I don't know how Spurs get into that, but Arsenal outplayed, you know, City across the there. And I also would say, like, you know, the overall thing, you know, one of the things I always used to kind of gripe compared to Fergie's teams and Liverpool's teams, this year we ground down the bottom half of the league. You know, we just ticking off about 10 teams there. We took 6 points off home and away. The most of the bottom half of the league and Man United, they deserve to be down in that bottom half anyway. How do they always manage to crawl themselves up to up higher in the league than they actually play for? So yeah, I'm very pleased with overall. You know, there's coulda, woulda, shoulda in a few places, but today's not the day to be picking at what didn't happen this season, because so much, as you rolled out the stats there, Jonathan, like, you know, there hasn't been many seasons like this in our history.
Yeah.
You know, the only time that we've been better than this is when we've been exceptional. And I think we're close to exceptional now.
I think you're right, Ed. I mean, you called out 70-71, we won 29 games, but that was from 42. You know, it wasn't from 38. It was 42 games back then. But if you step back from the emotion and the disappointment, I think you've got to look at it like this. First of all, in 4.5 years, the manager and his entourage and the owners have turned us from bottom half of the league, sliding down the table, into a team that got 89 points and made a serious challenge for the title. Right? That's the first thing. They also allowed us to dream big time. And the connection that they have is incredible. But also, they have a squad that's going to get better. You see, this is the thing. We are going to get better. We have the potential to get better more than any of the top teams at this point in time. So, for anybody out there who thinks that we may have bottled it, I'd say to you, 16 wins, a draw and a defeat in 18 games. If you did a points conversion on that, that's 100 plus points in a season. Right? So, are we all good? Yeah. So the form we've shown since we came back in January has been 100 plus points a season. Right? Now you have to remember, the team took a small while to gel. It took a while to get Havertz to gel. Even Declan, we lost Timber. We weren't that great up to November, December. But my God, what we've done since January has been absolutely formidable. And I just took a quick look at the points we dropped. And just hear me out on this, right? Because we only dropped points in 10 games. Right? So, Fulham at home, we should have won that game. We were 2-1 up going into injury time. Right? Spurs at home, we were 2-1 up and Jorginho did something most un-Jorginho-like. Right? Villa at home, we dominated them. And if Trossard scores before half-time, we win that game. Right? West Ham at home, we 33 shots. It was just one of those days. Newcastle away, we were worth the draw. I wouldn't say we deserved to win that game. We were worth the draw. Fulham away, we deserved what we got. We got beaten. Liverpool away, I think a draw was a fair result. Villa away, we had golden chances to pull them back. I think we could have gotten a draw in that game. Man City away, we got a draw. The only one I'd say that we were lucky all season was Chelsea away because we were terrible that day. And we got it back to 2-2 when we'd actually been terrible. So if you look at the points that we ended up, I think a lot of that stuff came in the early part of the season.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the majority.
I think the way Arsenal have been playing since January is 100 points, right? And I'm very, very proud of what the team gave us this year. I think the Man City machine is going to go into decline. I really do. But we are up against the machine. And, all that brings teams going up there being, beaten in their minds. That's what we're up against. So we've fallen slightly short to probably the strongest team in club football in the world, I think. The fact that Guardiola's a bottler in the Champions League, that's their own business. They should be winning Champions Leagues year on year with that team. But I think they know we're coming for them, and we are.
Do you think as well, Eamon? I've been reading in a couple of the papers today. Arteta says it's going to take 100 points to win the league. To beat City. Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
No. No. I think we won the league in 2002 with 84 points. We won the league with the Invincibles at 90 points. I actually think City's points tally will deteriorate because you see, people often say about the Arsenal, you never replace Dennis Bergkamp. Does anybody know why that is? You see, there wasn't one.
Yeah, you can't replace that type of quality. Yeah.
Well, let's go and try and replace Kevin De Bruyne. There isn't one. There isn't one.
There isn't one. No. Yeah.
No.
And I was just looking as well in one of the match reports there on the City game. De Bruyne is 32, 33 now. Kyle Walker's 32, and John Stones is 30. That group of players is starting to get older now, and they're not.
Kyle Walker's 34.
34, is he?
Yes.
When you look at our team, so young and still in pretty much hitting their prime, I think Guardiola, listening to him on the interview yesterday, I don't know whether it's mind games, but I think next season could be his last season with them.
I actually think you're right.
Yeah.
Like you see, Guardiola always knows what's best for him, and good luck to him.
Yeah.
And he has this kind of, brand, if you like, as a serial winner. But I can tell you, when he sees that empire beginning to deteriorate, he'll head off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the thing about them is, even though they might dodge the 115 charges of financial fair play, they can't go spending mad because they're under the microscope. So he's going to be a bit under pressure. I mean, if you think about it, Everton got 4 points docked off them. Forest got 2 for minor breaches of financial fair play. Sure, we lost at 8 by 2 points. But I don't really want to get into that space.
Yeah, you
But
don't.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Like the Premier League would probably, I would say, turn a blind eye to Man City. But I think I'm a negotiator by trade in my career. I'm just saying that I would imagine what's going on in the background there is, listen, we won't hit you for 115 charges, but we're fucked if we're going to see you spending the way you were. And there could be a bit of that now going on. So anyway, look, very proud of the Arsenal. Never mind Man City. Very, very proud.
Going to yourself, Ed, as I was asking Eamon there just a couple of seconds ago, do you think it will take 100 points to win the league off City, or do you think in and around what we got this season will be enough to win the league?
No, I don't think it'll take 100 points or 115 charges, because they'll get out of that. They'll buy their way out of it. We all know that. They'll pay 100 million fine to some charity, grassroots football. And nobody will see that money ever again. Well, I think the game has changed. In the last few, the Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. People don't play for draws anymore. There's very little of that anymore in the league. If you look at the Invincibles, 12 draws. Nowadays, a lot of the Premier League games, in particular, they go on to like the 95th, 96th, 97th minute, and the TV cameras love last-minute goals, and that's happening more. So there's very few games being played for draws, and City don't play for them. Neither do Liverpool. So unless that changes and evens up, I mean, next season is going to be really interesting. Whoever replaces Ten Hag, the new Ten Hag, Liverpool have got, will Villa be better than they were? Yeah, God no, so there's a bunch of table teams there in the mid group, like we got mugged by Fulham of all teams. We only got a point out of that. There's teams there that could do better. And as Eamon said, they should be doing better to take points off City. They're starting to do it against Liverpool, making Liverpool's life hard. And Klopp didn't hang around to see his legacy fade over the next few years, which he probably would. But they can't afford to buy every player to replace Liverpool's team. So we've knocked one out of the way. Liverpool this year, everybody's knocked Man United out of it and made them to a laughing stock. City are the next peak to aim for, to get us to the very top of the league. Into it could be like the 30s again for Arsenal if we get to the next level. And people look back at what we didn't do this year. We didn't sign that player in January that everybody was whinging about that we should have gotten. There wasn't one. I mean, who was there? Who was there to get? Arteta had a plan for Havertz, and some of us didn't see it. Me, hands up. I didn't get it all the time. But we had, we scored all those. We scored goals, we scored points. I mean, some of our strikers didn't do what they should have done. A lot of injuries, carrying injuries. Jesus didn't do a great job. But the rest of the team did. And Smith Rowe, yesterday, I'll just go back to that. What a great chance he had. He just slightly scuffed it, but I know he was trying to hit it into the ground and let it bounce over like Ozil used to do. It was a deliberate volley what he was trying to do, and he hit the
trying to
crossbar.
keep it down there.
Pickford was so lucky yesterday, as well as being his usual jam. You have to be in the right place to be lucky, and he always is in the right place. He is England's number one for a reason. And Smith Rowe is one of those. He still has his puppy fat, and he seems to be a player who finds it difficult to get into a fitness zone. But can we keep him? I mean, we do need to have somebody creative in behind Odegaard. I mean, we've been so lucky that Declan Rice and Odegaard are at the absolute peak of their physical prime, and they ran like all season, every single game. Like, they could not criticize what they did, but we do need to have somebody who can play at a 10 or in that creative zone. And Smith Rowe, before he got his run of injuries, was developing into a player who could do that. But he won't never be the kind of powerhouse runner.
Absolutely, Eddie. But as I said, I have a nagging doubt about there's something not right with that lad. There's just something not right with him,
Yeah, we're being linked. We're being linked with a striker from RB Salzburg, Sesko. He's Slovenian. He's still fairly young, but it's refreshing to see Arteta and Edu already, in the transfer market, and player have ideas who's coming in, fingers crossed, in the summer, So I think next season preparations are already in place.
Absolutely, Jonathan. As I've said on a number of times in this programme, even when the meltdown was going on when Man City apparently bid for Declan Rice, we had Declan Rice signed in all but ink a year in advance.
Yeah, and all but ink.
And that's the way we're doing our business now. We know exactly who we want, and it's not just, it's not the Vlahovic days, and I don't mean to harp on about that. Or the Mudryk days, where you throw it at that, and if it doesn't work out, it's a disaster. We have clear targets, and we've options A, B, and C, and they're all character tested. Well, you see, one of the things about when you build a very tight knit squad, which the squad obviously is very tight knit and committed, right? But then you need to make sure that you don't bring in some gobshite who's going to upset that balance. Yeah, you've got to bring in the right character,
What's quite refreshing as well is when you look at the age profile of the signings, they're all, they're kind of in their early 20s, mid 20s, hitting, just ready to hit their prime. We're not kind of signing anyone kind of over the 30 age mark, So I think in that sense, there's a profile there, as you said, that they're looking at, someone that's young, hungry, and not with an ego, that's not upset.
And the other thing is, listening to Mikel himself, who we're very lucky to have. He's the most important summer signing, by the way. We need to sign him up. He's only got 1 year left on his deal, right?
Yeah.
But listening to him, he doesn't strike me as a guy who's gonna kind of go, "Oh, we were so heroic this year. We went so close. On God, we're devastated." He just looks at the next one and said, "No, we didn't reach the level required. We need to bump her up another level." That's the way he thinks,
Yeah, when he said from his speech, he says we have to bite into it and want more. He says when he said to the fans, "Don't accept this. We want more, and we want the players to feel it as well." I thought
thirstyformore.com.
Yeah, Pepsi. It was a nice shout over Pepsi. I thought it was when I saw Kai Havertz and Rice nearly in tears, though. It shows they're only there this season, but it shows that they've bought into the Arsenal way, so close to winning the title. I thought in particular seeing Havertz getting emotional like that, it shows he's a part of something now. He feels like, he's welcome there, and compared to what he had last season at Chelsea, it's just really, it was rough. Just to recap, our final position in the table was played 38, won 28, drew 5, lost 5, scored 91, conceded 29, and finished up on 89 points, just 2 points behind City. Just it's the hope that kills you. We say season on season, but what we're seeing, definitely what we're seeing with Arteta, as Eamon said 2 or 3 years ago on this podcast, there's a project in place, and we're probably a bit ahead of it. But there is
we've arrived now. We've arrived now. You know.
We've arrived, yeah. And I think City felt that this season more so. They were really worried, you know. They see us as a real threat now to the crown. Your man of the match from yesterday, Eamon?
I'm going to agree with you, Jonathan. I think Martin Odegaard was sensational yesterday, you know.
Yeah, he does pulls the strings, doesn't he? Yeah,
I don't think he meant that pass, by the way, for Havertz. No. I think he fell over. I think he fell over as he was shooting. It's
like he does.
No, but he was sensational yesterday, you know.
Yeah, and all season as well. Yeah. Ed, your man of the match from yesterday?
Yeah, I was watching the Arsenal repeat yesterday, and just watching Odegaard. Yeah, he was everywhere on the pitch, and doing all pulling the strings where it needs to be. And the only thing was he was probably running into positions in the front corner where he was expecting Saka to return passes, and so it was like the telepathy with Martinelli wasn't perfect, but that's not Martinelli's fault. He was on the other side and playing on the opposite side, was the normal side. Odegaard was just brilliant. And I will say something about Gabriel Jesus. When he's still not in form, he still puts in a shift.
Yeah.
Look, you can't criticize his work rate.
Absolutely.
That's and he pounced on that Everton mistake.
Yeah. And
he grabbed it with one hand, the opportunity. And that's easy. The guys be like that. Also, he said something. Heard today was an old-fashioned captain. If a young man, to have the level head on him and and people around him, look to him for leadership. Leadership's not something you learn in college, or in a book. It's what you do when you show other people what you're about and show them the standards, and help the other people to get up to that standard.
Yeah.
Come here. Hang on. I'm just going to take a call. Hello. Hello, Michael D. You want the same message? Here he is. Hello. Never mind, Gooners. Next year we'll play with more vigor, veracity, vim, and that's my poetry. And we will be back. Now there you go, from the president. Like, there you have it. And
we hope to see more of Michael D over the coming next season.
It's always nice of him to drop. It's always nice of him to drop in.
He's delighted with Galway United as well, Michael.
Yeah, Galway United. Yeah.
He's passionate about football, that's for sure. Before we move on to our player and goal of the month for May, I know we've just saw at the end of the season there yesterday. In terms of, I suppose we go in terms of outgoings, Eamon, who do you think is most likely that we're going to say goodbye to in the summer?
Well, we know Cedric and Nanny are going to go.
Yeah.
And Ramsdale's going to go. And
you feel that, do you?
Oh, yeah, he'll go. We'll get money for him. Smith Rowe, maybe. I'd like to see him stay. And I'd like to think that that the boy doesn't have issues that he's struggling with. That's all I say to you, right? And Eddie Nketiah will go.
You feel Eddie's gone, yeah.
Oh, Eddie's gone. He hasn't used them in any games,
No.
Eddie will still, you'll get 30 million for Eddie Nketiah. And the one player that I think might go might be Zinchenko,
Yeah, there's been, I think, this season hasn't been as good as last season, all right, but I think he'd be a bit of a loss there, He's a versatile player, like he can.
Yes, but Tommy Yasu was superb yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, that goal was like a striker's goal, the way he took it into the corner.
The way he played, the positions he got to on the pitch, You know, I mean, he arrived in the box. I mean, he technically could have had the hat trick. You know, he arrived in the great positions on the pitch, and he's a more reliable defender than Zinchenko. You know.
Yeah, the fans love him as well, don't they? Yeah, old Tommy. Yeah. In terms of yourself, Ed, who do you think is possible outgoings that we won't see next season in an Arsenal jersey?
I'm not sure about Ramsdale. Is he prepared to sit down and learn a few things? You know, he's still very young, and you know, if he can sort out his distribution out from the back, you know, he's technically a better shot stopper than Raya, but for example, Raya's just far more. I've said this before.
No, he's not, Ed.
Yeah.
No, he's not, Ed. His left hand is hopeless.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, he's nowhere near as mature. He's still a bit childish in some of his aspects. So, but you know, there's time there for him. But you know,
no, the reason why Ramsdale would be sold is because we make money on him.
Yeah.
We will get an experienced goalkeeper as backup for Raya. Somebody who's happy to come in and somebody who knows. I mean, there's talk of Chesney coming back.
Yeah, I've heard. I'd have him back tomorrow.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd
be okay with that, you know?
Yeah. I'll tell you another player that we haven't talked about, who, you know, is a squad player and, you know, a lifelong Gooner, Reece Nelson.
Reece Nelson, I think he'll go.
Yeah, but you need some players. We need to find a few homegrown players for the Champions League squad.
Yeah.
We can put as many kids as we like on the list, but we need to have, I know, because we're lucky that Declan Rice counts on the homegrown list. You know, Ben White, you know, is another one that we can count. We can tick a box in. So we need to find a few of them. I don't. City, you know, can always have that a gigantic academy, a factory.
Yeah. Look. It's it's way too early.
Yeah.
The transfer market's very complex. It's not.
Yeah.
Some people think, sign this body, sign that body, sign the other body. Like, first of all, I hope Smith Rowe doesn't go, because I still think he can offer us something. I think Eddie has to go for himself. You know, not because I want him out, but I think he has to go. I think Reece has to go for himself. Right? These are good players who will do a decent thing, right? But don't ignore what we have out on loan. I mean, the lad Beirut is pulling up trees.
Yeah.
He's a 21-year-old striker getting loads of goals. You know, so will he come in as a backup striker? He won't be the main striker. You know, you just don't know. But all I'm saying is that Edu knows far more than I do. Arteta knows far more than I do. And I trust what they are doing. And I'd say they have clear visions in their mind as to who's going and who's staying, you know? It's a pity that 16-year-old lad, by the way, isn't about 18. Have you seen that lad? Obi Martin, have you seen him?
Yeah, I've seen him, yeah.
He scored 22 goals in about 2 games.
Yeah.
But have you actually watched him play? This guy this guy, so long as his mentality is right, this guy is Erling Haaland plus.
Yeah. I tell you,
you know,
if we do go in for this lad Sesko of Salzburg, he is a top talent, you know. He's young, he's hungry, and he's kind of that height of Haaland, you know, that type of that striker. But as Eamon says, everything is kind of the speculation at the moment, and we let the summer take its course. In terms of our May player and goal of the month, we start with goal of the month. I'm gonna go for Leandro Trossard's goal against Bournemouth. Just the way he placed it into the corner, I thought it was beautiful. He had a big month for us as well. Obviously, scored in the winner against United at Old Trafford. So I'll go with that against Bournemouth. Goal of the month yourself for me, Eamon?
Trossard against Man United, simply because it was up there and they beat them.
Yeah, sure.
And it was very Freddie Ljungberg-esque, the way he kind of darted his run into the box at the right time. It's not just about the pass into the goal. It was the way he darted in so quickly. So I'm going to go with that one, you know.
Yeah, there's been a lot of comparisons actually with Freddie Ljungberg with Trossard. Yeah. Ed, your goal of the month for me?
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Jonathan. I thought Trossard's goal was gorgeous. But I think everyone was saying before that he was trying to be doing too much. He was trying to be fancy with an outside scoop at the. I think he got more of it on his toe, but there's nothing wrong with a good toe poke. So there was a bit. There was a So it went in the right. It went into the top corner. And it couldn't be saved. And there were so many goals that have been vital for us in the run up. We haven't. We started to grind wins out, and that's always a good sign. It's not always just about 6-0 against Sheffield United or whoever. So we were scoring good goals at vital times in vital games. So, that's a sign of a winning mentality, not whatever City's pampered poodles think.
It's a good choice for your goal of the month. Yeah, it was a beautiful finish past Mark Travers. Player of the month for me, I think I'm going to go for Thomas Partey. I thought having him back, I thought he was fairly stable in the midfield, and it let Declan Rice a bit more freedom, to move ahead of him. And I thought seeing him back has really given us that solidity in midfield. So I'm going to give it to Thomas Partey. Eamon, yourself for player of the month?
Leandro Trossard.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, he kept Martinelli out of the team. That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Mikel Arteta, are you listening? Yeah, to keep Martinelli on the bench, you have to be special. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's speechless there now. Ed, player of the month for me, yourself?
Yeah, I'll take you. Well, it won't be Thomas Partey, but I take your point on that because he was he releases Declan Rice 10 meters forward into into an attacking position. He's still trying to do the few Alex Song quarterback passes into slots that aren't into channels that we don't have players in at the moment. But I should give it player of the month to Kai Havertz for being the striker, for becoming the striker we all hoped. And like I was saying, in the River Bar a few times, if we had an Oliver Giroud type player this season, he would have got bagfuls of goals with the systems that we have, balls coming in left, right, and centre into scoreable positions. So Kai for believing in himself, and us for believing in Arteta for believing in Kai. So that's my player of the month.
Yeah, it's good shows. Yeah, and I think month on month, it's been over the course of the 9 months, it's been so tough to pick a player of the month because they've all been excellent, And look, what a 9 months it's been, particularly from January onwards. But when you take in the whole season, I never saw really coming that close to the title, and you can only look forward to next season. Hopefully be even better, But before we wrap up the show, would you like to say anything about the River Bar for having us for the last 9 months?
Look, I mean, I haven't been in the River Bar as often as some others because I happen to be at a lot of games this year.
Yeah, this season.
I think it was over 14 games, so that's 14 times I haven't been in the River Bar. But it's been brilliant, and they've been brilliant for us. And the fact that we didn't win it, well, mind you, upstairs they started playing Oasis yesterday, and I think that was there's a Tottenham man with a beard in there now, and I know who he is, by the way, and I'm just going to get his address. Nothing dramatic is going to happen that you'll read in the papers, but just watch this space. It'll be kind of like Novichok poisoning, like the Russians do it. No, but I mean, no, fairness. He'll
be changing his colours pretty quickly next season if he's in.
But the only thing, I was talking to a mate of mine from Weatherfield, right, Ken Barlow, and he said the fact that we didn't win the title. You ready? Yeah. Sound right in the tree. Now.
Old Deirdre's in for one this summer after that.
Yeah, Deirdre needs to go away to Thailand or someplace.
She probably go off with them somewhere to a tropical place. Yes, we haven't had Canberra one for quite a while. So it's
We
nice.
haven't had one in a while. I'm like, nor have we had his mate from Delhi. So frustrating, Deirdre. I thought I'd bring him back for the end of the season.
It's been brilliant. Just for the 1-9ers alone as we're doing the show. I'd just like to say, Ed, would you like to mention anything yourself about the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club? I have to say it's superb work by the committee again over the last 9 months. It doesn't go unnoticed, so well done to everyone involved there. Yourself, Ed?
Yeah, well, it's fantastic for people. Yeah, we're going to need a bigger place. By the looks of things,
Yeah.
If half of those people, again, they were saying just before we started that people underestimate Arsenal supporters. Like, we are a huge club, huge support base around the world. We always get visitors in from around the world coming in onto River Bar. Like, they find out where we are and join us, and they're always welcome. International Gooners, and the committee have done a fantastic job. I mean, it's getting bigger every week. I know we had a special season, but even on the cold, wet Wednesdays, there's always a crowd, a group in there. I think we were actually told off once this season for over celebrating. We have the whole place downstairs, and there's also salsa dancing after we finish.
I'd just like to mention as well,
better looking than we are.
There's a new bar on Dunleer Street, right around the corner from the River Soho bar. It's called 80s, 90s, and 2000s Musics, over 3 floors. Excellent. It could be a new venue.
John, I just want to make one comment about the River Bar. And you see, if anybody hasn't been there, it's kind of in 2 sections, and the Hardy Annuals stand in 1 section, and then you've got another kind of a cinema type section.
Yeah.
And I have to say, we have people from all race, religion, sexuality, and Arsenal is for everybody. And I think when you come into the River Bar, anybody who hasn't been there, no matter what you are in life, you're welcome into the River Bar to the Arsenal. That's all I'll say, Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, it is a very welcoming place, yeah. And the way it should be, to be honest, football is just, I see football as just one big family, regardless who you support. It's just unique, and it brings everyone together for one reason or another. And of course, hopefully, a big shout out to the River Bar team that put up with us for 9 months. Hopefully to do another 9 months next season as well. But thanks for a big thanks to them, because it is a great venue, and the downstairs is just perfect for ourselves. It doesn't go unnoticed what they do for us. I'd just like to say as well, thanks to Martin Stumble, who spends the last 9 months editing this, having to listen through it painfully maybe. But no, just like to say as well, thanks to my guests throughout the season, Eamon, Ed, and the others know who they are. Without the guests, there'd be no podcast. So again, thanks very much for giving up your time week on week. As I said at the start of the show, next week will be our end of season review. Eamon, hopefully you'll be there as always. It should be a good night as always, looking back on the season. Just before we wrap up, just to mention Elevate events again, that special evening on August the 9th at the Clayton Hotel, Burlington Road, Friday, August the 9th. Liam Brady, Paul Merson and Ray Parlour will be the guests, and Darragh O'Brien, who's an avid Arsenal fan, will be presenting. So hopefully get on to universe.com/tickets to get in there. I say it's pretty much sending out fast. And it should be a good night. Just to mention as well, before we go, for anyone that has their heart rate back after yesterday, the Premier League 24-25 fixtures will be released Tuesday, June the 18th at 9 a.m. Just for anyone who wants to get their heart racing again. So a big shout out to Eamon Donnelly.
And just before we finish, when you asked me about the goal of the month for May, there's only ever one goal of the month in May. And there's Dixon with a good-looking ball to Smith. There goes Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now! Never forget and keep the faith.
I'd just like to shout out Pepsi, thirsty for more, as you see Eamon there. He's always thirsty for more, as we say with the Burma. Tell you, there's a last commentator there named. Big shout out as well to Eamon's band, the Rods and Mockers, who plays the team music as well for us at the start of the show. So best of luck to Eamon and them for you going forward as well. Big shout out and thanks to you, Eamon, for coming on.
No problem.
And to Ed Scanlon as well. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Good to see you guys.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel to catch this when it's edited. And we'll see you next Monday for the end of season review. Go on, the Arsenal.
Thanks.